consultancy company based in Wilmington, Delaware. We offer consultancy services in organization structure and behavior and entrepreneurship. We have been doing this series of videos on problem-centric entrepreneurship. And the problem-centric entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship which is based on solving community problems that are pressing and that the community or the people need solved. So today we are handling the question of, are the people able and willing to pay for the solution the entrepreneur is so offering? Entrepreneurs go into business to offer a service or a product so they can be paid for it. They are not a charity. And to know beforehand your prospects have the money to pay and willing to pay for it is important for the success of an entrepreneur's business. So you identify the problem, and then you narrow down and identify who has the problem, and identify who will pay for it, whether it's the people who have the problem or the people who need it solved. Then you find out the number of people who will need your solution. That number will help you in pricing. Because if you're only going to supply to 2 people, you will have to spread your fixed costs on 2 people. But if you are going to supply to 1 million people, you are going to spread your fixed costs to 1 million people, and the price, the delivered price will be less. After you know the people who own the problem and the people who are going to use it, and you determine the price that your solution will be delivered at, you want to see whether the people you are targeting have the money at that price point to pay you for it. And if they do have the money, you find out whether they are actually willing to pay for it. You may say, this community has 1,000 people, and it needs the trash needs to be collected from each home. Say, if a household has got 4 people, so that would be 4 divided by 1,000, so an average of 250 homes. You decide weekly collection, maybe $10, and you come to say, okay, I'll collect trash from every home for $10 per week. So that's how you calculate that. But if the people in the community are not willing to put up the $10 per week, or do not have the $10 per week, then there's no point trying to supply a trash collection service there, because there is a problem, yes. There are people there with it, but it's at a price that they are not willing to pay for it, or are not able to pay. But if it's an incorporated community and there is a local authority which can tax the people, so that instead of you collecting the money from the people, you're collecting it from the authority, local authority, then basically you are moved away from dealing with the end user and going to deal with the payer. So basically finding out whether your solution can be paid for is key to the success of your business. And when you enter contract, you need to be able to read it. I'll tell you a story. One time, me and my partners decided that the US needed cut flowers, which was true. People buy cut flowers every day. And then we decided that the people who own the customers, meaning the retailers, are the ones who are going to go to as our buyers. Good. We went there, we got a contract to deliver to one of the retailers. We were not talking about the same thing. The retailer in their contract said they are providing a place for us to sell flowers. And the flowers are ours until sold and paid for. As we thought, we are selling the flowers to the retailer. In the contract, the retailer said, if the flowers are not bought, we should come and pick them. And if we don't, they will charge us the cost of disposal. Because we were very excited about getting an opportunity to deliver flowers to a large retailer in the United States, we never read the detail. So we were talking, but we are not agreeing on the same thing. Okay? So the question of, are they able and willing to pay? We thought the retailer was able, which they were, but they were not willing to pay. They were putting the burden on us. And they put the burden on us that they would only provide a place for us to put the flowers and make it available to their customers. And if their customers liked it, they would buy and pay, they would pay us. But if their customers return the flowers, they still belong to us. So guess what? At the end of 8 months, we had delivered flowers worth $50,000 and we were not paid. But we also owed the retailer another $50,000 for disposal of flowers that they are not sold. So at the end of the day, our supplier wanted their money, and the person we thought was our customer, who was apparently our conduit for sale, wanted money for handling it. That's key to the idea of, do you know who really your customer is? We thought our customer is the retailer. The retailer said our customer was their customer. They are just giving us access to them. And they said, if we don't sell, if the customers don't want it, we come and pick our merchandise. If we don't pick it, they dispose it off at our cost. In our mind, we were getting the flowers from a supplier, we're delivering to the retailer, and the retailer should pay. That is a lesson in business, that don't be too excited when you identify a problem, and when you think you have identified the person who owns it. We thought that the person who owned the problem, the person who needed the flowers, was the retailer. The retailer in the small print said, no, I don't need the flowers. My customers could need the flowers. We'll give you space to put there. If your customers like your flowers, they'll buy them and they will pay you with our profit, of course, or we minus their profit, of course. So they basically took our flowers on consignment and made a name for themselves by making sure that if the customer didn't like, or if they bought the flowers on Monday and they returned it on Friday, they still took them back and charged us. So the ability to identify whether you actually have identified the really person who is going to buy your flower or your solution is important, and finding out whether they actually are willing to pay is important. Otherwise, you will end up in a situation whereby, like we did, you're taking merchandise worth 50,000, and the person who's handling it is charging you enough, you end up out $100,000 for trying to sell something. So offer a solution. So this is a very key thing. Read your contracts very well. Read the definition. See who is doing what. See whether who you think is your end user is actually the end user. See whether they are the customer or they are putting themselves in a position where they are your agent. Cut flowers are perishable. If you are shipping them from Nairobi to the United States, and then they are staying in the store for a week, and then they are being disposed of, and that's your cost, then you have a problem. So, entrepreneurship is good, but caution is also good. And reading every detail, understanding what part each person is playing, misunderstanding, thinking one thing, and the other person is thinking another thing is going to cost you. We learned the vendor agreement was right there. We've gone to school, we can read, but we were too excited and we didn't read the complete thing. We didn't read our responsibilities. Finally, at the end of the day, when we went to read our responsibilities, we understood. We were told we should deliver the flowers, and the flowers were delivering on consignment. They continually belong to us until sold. And if they are returned, they will be refunded and at our cost. And if they have to be disposed, the cost will be ours. We never read that. We never understood that. We never got to that because we were too excited to get the flower, to be able to arrange, to buy or get our flowers on open account from our supplier and deliver them in a day to stores in the United States. We did not know, we did not take time to find out whether who we thought was our customer was actually our customer and whether they are willing to pay for the product we are delivering. Let that be a question or tale, learn from us so that you don't incur the same problem. Make sure you are fully aware of the responsibilities of each party in every transaction. Make sure that the person you think is your customer is actually your customer and not your agent. Make sure that they have the money and they are willing to pay you in time. There's no point doing something for somebody when they are not willing to pay for it or are not able to pay for it. Because at the end of the day, you will be out of money. And you don't go into business to be out of money. You go into business to solve the problem, but you be paid for your services or for your product. I can't stress that enough, because people, particularly when you're setting up in business, people get very excited about opportunity they have found, and they don't want to look at it. They don't want to turn it over. They think they don't have the confidence enough to turn it over. They think they're going to lose it. But I'm sure, had we read the vendor agreement and seen that basically we are not selling the flowers, we are vending, meaning we are putting the flowers available for the retailers, customers, and that if they like it, they buy. If they don't, we own it. We would have passed this. We would have done the same in our contract to the supplier But there was a mismatch between our contract with our supplier and our contract with the retailer. Our contract with the supplier said we are buying. Our contract with the retailer said we are delivering on consignment and we still own it until sold. So we were actually dumb of costs. Our supplier was putting costs on us. The retailer was putting costs on us. At the end of the day, we ended up completely with no money to pay any of them, because the flowers were, of course, half of them dying in stores and having to be disposed of. But we didn't know that until we're asking for payment, and 8 months later we find that we are out of money. So is your prospective customer able and willing? And do you really know them? Where you are delivering your product, are you delivering to them as your agents or as your buyers? Look at the contracts. Make sure you understand them. Make sure what you think is what your counterpart thinks. Ambiguity is sometimes good, but in business and in contracting, clarity is important. Every time somebody tells you something, make sure you have a definition of what they mean, so that both of you are talking about the same thing. Like us, we are customers to our suppliers, but we were vendors to the retailer. So costs were piling up in our port. Disposal of flowers, ours. Delivery of flowers, ours. Nobody's paying. We didn't check to see whether we have actually identified the customer. And after we identify a channel of sale, we thought we had found a customer, when that was just a channel of delivery to the customer. And agreeing that that customer can be able to return perishable flowers. I wouldn't do that again, but I wouldn't make it past somebody else to do it. So this is a question on time. If you are selling perishable products, check on the return policy. If you are delivering on consignment to a platform, make sure they don't tell you that they are going to dispose it for you if it's not sold. So there is no incentive for them to take care of your product, because it doesn't matter. If they sell, they get money. If they don't sell, they get money. Okay? And as an entrepreneur, you don't want that. You want to make sure that you are dealing, you have airtight contracts with whoever you deal with, so that you minimize your risk and you remove vulnerability, so that even if there is danger there, it doesn't come your way. So this is the point where you start actually spending money. You may be spending money that you don't even have. When you agree that you would buy flowers on open account, you are actually spending money. When you agree that when you deliver flowers to the retail store, if a person buys it and doesn't want it, they return it, they should pay for you, they should return the money, they are returning your money. So although you are not handling any money here, you are actually spending money. You are allowing other people to spend your money, you are allowing other people to charge you for services you haven't even seen. So at the point of identifying whether your prospective customer is able and willing to pay, that's the point you are now introducing actually financial transactions that will cost you. You may not see the money, but you will sure see the bills and the invoices, just because you signed on the dotted line and you thought you had got a customer when you had got an agent, or you thought the supplier will understand when the agent, because when you are signing this contract, you are signing the contract with the platform or the retailer. You're not showing the person who's supplying you the service. You think that in between here is where you're going to make money. But if you will make money if your contracts are airtight and you know you're dealing with a supplier and a customer this one. But if you're dealing with a supplier and an agent this side, and all the costs are yours, then you are setting yourself up for failure. So the question of whether your prospective customer and whether you actually know who your customer is willing and able to pay is very important for you to be able to succeed in business and thrive. Thank you very much. This was an interesting topic. If you learned something on it, subscribe to my channel and leave comments there so that we can be able to help each other in this entrepreneurial journey. We will see you in the next video when we discuss another subject. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Dr. David Amakobe. I come from African Wood Incorporated. We're a consultancy company based in Wilmington, Delaware. We provide organizational structure and behavior consultancy and entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. See you later.